Hello and welcome to ELT Experiences with me, Martin. A few days ago, I tweeted about using a grammar auction activity with my class for the first time ever in my teaching career. Quite a few of my followers wanted to learn a bit more about a grammar auction and what's required for a grammar auction. In all the years of my teaching, I've never used a grammar auction. It's always appeared as quite challenging and problematic to set up, but I thought, well, I'll give it a try and see how it works. Anyhow, after successfully completing my first ever grammar auction, I thought I'd share with you some tips and ideas on how you could succeed with a grammar auction. My first tip is, before you start the grammar auction activity, you need to collect a variety of sentences and grammar points that you've looked at in class with your students. It's best to have a collection of either correct or incorrect sentences. Fortunately, with my coursebook that I've been using with my class, there was a collection of sentences that I could already include within the grammar auction activity. It's always a good idea to include a variety of sentences with a particular grammar point that you've been looking at with your class over the past few days or the past week within the grammar auction activity. Once you've prepared sentences before the class, what you need to do is, once you enter the classroom, you need to divide students up into pairs or small groups. I would suggest between 3 to 4 students per team. Try to place students into small islands or small groups around the classroom rather than having them seated in a horseshoe. This will allow them to work a lot more easily and to work together as a team. Once you've placed students into their small groups, hand out the worksheet per group, and you could either hand out one worksheet per team, or you could hand out, if you have 3 students in a small group, you could hand out 3 worksheets in that team. Tell students that they have around 10 minutes to read each sentence and decide whether that particular sentence is correct or incorrect grammatically. And normally what I tend to do is, if they think it's correct, they can tick it. If they think it's incorrect, they could put a cross next to it. If the group of students believe that this particular sentence is incorrect, they have to try and correct it themselves. And finally, all students need to agree upon whether that sentence is correct or incorrect. And if there's any disagreement between that particular sentence, they have to work together to reach an agreement. At this point, once they've agreed upon which sentences are correct or incorrect, I like to demonstrate an auction to the students. And this part is really, really important, so students understand what is really expected of them. I usually show a video clip from Only Fools and Horses, where there's Del Boy and Rodney, and they're auctioning off a valuable watch, and they get an idea of what an auction is. And then I explain to students that you're going to be auctioning or bidding for a particular sentence. You then explain to students that they have £1,000 to bid for a particular sentence, and they need to decide when they're bidding whether it's correct or incorrect. It's your discretion whether you want to prepare some Monopoly money with your group, and if you include Monopoly money, it brings some authenticity to the actual activity that's occurring. You can also monitor how much each group has spent as you take the Monopoly money from them for how much they've bidded for a particular sentence. You start the bidding at £10 and then you continue until a group has purchased a particular sentence. And after a while, you'll start to notice that groups will start to shout out individual bids of how much they want to spend on a particular sentence. So they'll shout out a price, and then you just monitor as you would at an auction. Now, this is a tricky bit with regards to a grammar auction. If a successful group of students has outbidded all the other students in the classroom, they have to explain to you whether they believe the sentence is correct or whether it's not. If the students believe that the sentence is correct, and it is correct, then they win that sentence. However, if they believe the sentence is correct and it's incorrect, then you go back to the previous group of students that had bidded for that particular sentence, just below the cost of what the final bid was. Now, those group of students will determine that this sentence is incorrect, of course. And if a sentence is incorrect, students have to provide a correction for that sentence to win it. So if you have a group of students that believe the sentence is incorrect and it is indeed incorrect, then they have to provide a correction. If that correction is not right, then it goes to the previous group that had just bidded before them at that price that they agreed upon, and they have to provide a correction. And you keep going back until the right group provide the right correction for the sentence. It's quite complicated, but the students will soon start to get an idea. When I did this activity, there wasn't much in the way of student groups being wrong when they were bidding. As you can see, it's quite a complicated task and it requires a lot of setting up. And for me, I wrote up the rules on the board so that students were fully aware what was expected of them. It takes a lot of time setting up the task, and it took me 15 minutes to explain and check that students were fully aware of what was expected. But if you introduce the task correctly and the students are fully aware, then the next time that you do this activity, it requires less in the terms of investment of preparing the task. They already know what's expected of them. They already know what the activity is about. And if you set it up correctly the first time, it will save you a vast amount of time the next time you introduce it into the classroom. I'll be sharing the rules of this in a blog post along with the video, and a link to the blog post will be provided in the details of this video. You can have a read of the actual activity, and I'll be sharing a template grammar auction, and you can try it out with your class as well. And don't worry if the task doesn't succeed, because it is a rather difficult activity. Just have a think about how you can improve it next time if it doesn't go to plan. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, please let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button. I really appreciate everybody who hits the like button and comments. I really do appreciate everybody who takes the time to comment, and let me know whether you enjoyed this video as well. I'd love to hear what other activities that you'd like to incorporate to review grammar and vocabulary in the classroom. And have you ever tried a grammar auction yourself? As always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. That would be great. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified when I upload a new video. Have a lovely week, and don't forget, happy teaching. Thank you.